Margie, how many people do we have online?
I just have one right now.
Okay. So I think we'll wait for the 5 minutes to
Yes,
start.
we did get a couple notifications that some people are running late, probably because of traffic. So if you want to wait, maybe like 5 minutes.
Hello. How are you?
No.
Doing okay. A little busy. Yeah. So realizing, yesterday I was up here for the literacy luncheon with the Literacy Coalition. Today I'm here for this, and now there's an emergency meeting for the Transportation Planning Agency tomorrow. So I'm having three days back to back heading to West Palm.
And then Mayor, I just want to state for those that are attending virtually, we are having some technical difficulties, and then we do have some members that are running late. So we'll get started as soon as possible. I'll let you know. Thank you. We appreciate your patience, everybody. We're almost set. I'm sorry. We're having internet issues.
Marjorie, live?
Yes.
All right. Call to order of the Palm Beach County Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board today, Wednesday, November 17th, 2021 at 2:07 PM. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Instructions to join the virtual meeting as well as contact information for assistance are provided in the published meeting agenda. Staff, please call the roll so that we can establish a quorum.
At this time, I'm only asking those board members attending in person to respond by saying here when I call your name. For those who have not attended a meeting at our office before, on the dais, you have a microphone. When you hit the button on the base, it turns red and that means you're on. The recording picks you up and the virtual attendees can hear you. And then if you are an alternate here on behalf of a representative, please state your name. Mallory Sanat is absent. Vanessa Palomino,
Here.
Wen Dang,
Here.
Takesha Saffold, Elisa Kramer, Mira Lisa Amador, Marie Dorsman. She hasn't come in, but I believe she's here, Chair. Angela Choice,
Here.
Jody, I'm sorry, if you can say your last name for me, Jody. Walbear, thank you. Jeannie Crispin is absent. Robin Manuel. Merlene Ramon.
I'm here.
Laura Schultz is absent. The representative for Children at Risk is absent. Robert Goodman. James Bonfiglio. Elsa DeGoy. Stephen Grant.
Present.
We do not have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Margie. Since we do not have a quorum, we cannot have any action items. However, we can have information. And so that is what we will do. And the first would be, and so we cannot approve the minutes from August 25th, 2021 until we get that quorum. So we will move on as the agenda is stated for general public comments. Are there any general public comments?
I have not received any at this time.
Okay. Comments from the chair and member comments. I'd like to begin. I attended the Florida Public Transportation Association Commission for Transportation Disadvantage conference over in Daytona Beach. I thought it was well attended and very informational. I think one of the key things that the Transportation Disadvantage Local Coordinating Board has to realize is that it's more than just transporting people. One of the seminars that I attended was suicide, where people are committing death by bus. And it is something that, I've stated before that we need to find ways to better utilize the funds for the same purposes. One of the examples that I gave was trying to teach and end the digital divide so that people who need to get things at stores, go see doctors, visit friends, have activities can do it virtually. Not to say that they can't do it in person, but the cost associated with traveling through paratransit is increasing every year. And that are my comments. In addition, it was also interesting to see the other counties in Florida to see what they do, as we are one of the most robust, if not in the state, not in the state, in the country regarding paratransit. And I'll ask if anyone would like to, in the audience here or on the board here today, would like to speak, please tilt your name tag to be recognized. Margie, is anyone online?
I do not have any virtual hands raised. And then Mayor Grant, I do want to note for the record that we now have a quorum in person.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So
And then Mayor, if I can have you bring your microphone a little bit closer for me. Thank you.
is this better for everyone? Okay, so the first thing is item 1C, modifications to the agenda. Are there any? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
Yes, there is. I'm
Okay.
sorry. So because Palm Beach County is no longer under state of emergency, members that wish to participate remotely have to provide a reasoning for their absence, and the board needs to approve whether they're going to allow them to attend virtually. So I have the following board members that requested permission to participate remotely. Robert Goodman noted today is the Century Village Health Fair that he is participating in. Robin Manuel noted she has a remote position and has childcare restraints that prevent her from coming in person. Takesha Saffold noted her work schedule will not allow her for an in-person attendance today. And Mary Lisa Amador did not provide a reasoning for hers that was specific, but I do know she is here on behalf of Representative Jerome Hill.
So we do need a reason, otherwise we cannot let Marie. So if we can unmute her microphone, and if she gives us any reason, we can approve it. Otherwise, we can't approve her virtually.
Correct. So Mary Lisa, I believe you're unmuted.
Oh, hi, good afternoon. Yes, I had something else scheduled. I do hearings here in the office, and the hearing was the final order. It was sent yesterday. I'm replacing today Jerome Hill. He's on leave until January. So it didn't give me enough time to prepare myself to go all the way to Palm Beach.
Thank you for the reason. And if everyone on the board accepts, may I have a motion to approve all virtual attendees?
Second.
So for the record, I have a motion by Elisa and a second by Wen.
That is correct. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Is there any additions, modifications to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chair, those were the only ones.
Okay. Next, motion to approve the minutes from August 25th, 2021.
So move.
And I'm sorry for the record, if I can have you turn on your microphones and then state it into the microphones, I would appreciate it. So I had a motion by Wen and a second by Elisa.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And I'll ask again, any comments from the chair or member comments? Seeing none, we will move on to the LCB liaison report.
Sure. And before we pull up the liaison report, I just want to take a moment to welcome some of our newest LCB appointments. First, we have Jerome Hill as a representative and Mary Elisa Amador as the alternate for the Agency for Healthcare Administration. Then we have James Bonfiglio as representative for the elderly and Jody Boisvert, is that correct? As representative for Palm Beach County Community Action. And this was the position that was previously filled by David Rufaitis. So welcome all of you. Thank you. And now I will go into the liaison report. And apologies for the record. My name is Kelsey Peterson. I am your LCB liaison. First, as Mayor Grant mentioned, the FPTA and CTD annual conference and expo recently took place on October 24th to 27th in Daytona Beach, Florida. I attended, as well as Mayor Grant and Jeannie Chrisman, another one of our LCB members. Mayor Grant was nominated for elected official of the year, and Palm Trend Connection actually won Urban CTC of the year. So congratulations. Next, TD Day, or Legislative Awareness Day, will take place on February 16th, 2022 in Tallahassee, Florida. So a few days before our next LCB meeting. If you'd like more information, you can visit the CTD website, or if you're interested in attending and live in Palm Beach County, you can reach out to Nicole Fincham-Sheehan. And all of these links are available in the handout that you all received. Next, we are still looking for a member for the Children at Risk role on the LCB. So if you know of anybody who might be a good fit for this role, please forward them my contact information and ask them to reach out to me. And then last, as you all know, we're always looking for LCB members to provide a brief presentation on how their everyday work relates to the transportation disadvantaged. So if you'd be interested in presenting at the February meeting or at an upcoming meeting, please get in touch with me. Thank you. That's all I have.
Number 5, 6, and 7.
Oh, so in the printed copy, there are additional items, but she was only going to review the top ones that we have listed there.
Okay, so I'll repeat it for the record. The TPA has completed a report of COVID-19 impacts on transportation and potential actions to become more adaptable during similar pandemics, which can be viewed at palmbeachtpa.org/COVID-19. The Love to Ride Florida Challenge. The Florida Department of Transportation is hosting a statewide challenge to get more people bicycling October 29th to November 30th, 2021. Participants can register as workplace teams, social groups, or as individuals. For more information and to register, visit lovetoride.net/Florida. TPA media release forms. The TPA has not received completed media release forms from all board members. This form will assist the TPA in creating photo and video highlights of work and accomplishments from board and committee members outside of scheduled meetings. The form can be downloaded from the TPA's website. So I'll ask Kelsey if you could send us a follow-up email regarding the Love to Ride and to all the people who do not have the TPA media release form.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to action items. Motion to elect the fiscal year 2022 LCB Vice Chair. Pursuant to section 2.3.c of the LCB bylaws, the LCB shall hold an organizational meeting each year for the purpose of electing a vice chair. David Rafaitis resigned as vice chair during the August 25th, 2021 organizational meeting. Therefore, a new vice chair is needed to serve for the remainder of fiscal year 22. The vice chair shall be elected by a majority vote of a quorum of the members of the LCB present and voting. Before I open the floor for nominations, staff, are there any public comments on this item?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now I'd like to open the floor to nominations for the vice chair. Are there nominations? So if you don't say something, someone else could nominate you.
Takesha.
Yes.
So Takesha is self-nominating.
Well, actually, I have a question.
Never mind.
Yes.
Can you please go over the roles and responsibility of that position, please?
So the position of chair of the LCB, if I'm not, as the vice chair would take over if I'm not here, is conducting the meeting under the Robert's Rules of Procedure and signing any documents pretty much as soon after the meeting. And that's kind of it to the extent of the required aspects of the chair.
Now, does that person also assist with the agenda, the items on the agenda?
No.
The answer was no. The aspect of the TDLCB board is that it is designated by the state to oversee the transportation disadvantaged funds that the county receives.
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
I will volunteer for the position if nobody else wants it.
All right. Thank you, James. And so we do have one nomination. Is there a second?
I will also nominate myself, Takesha.
And so, James, did you want to keep your nomination?
I'll withdraw. She- she's
Okay.
going to do it.
Thank you, Takesha. So we have one nomination. Going once, going twice. Do we need to have a vote?
Nope, you can, since there's no other nominations, you can ratify it.
Okay, so seeing and hearing no other ratifications, Ms. Takesha Saffel will now be the vice chair for the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. Our next action item is the motion to approve the fiscal year 2018-22 Transportation Disadvantaged Service Plan, with fiscal year 22 annual updates. I invite Kelsey to present this item.
Thank you, Mayor Grant. Right. So again, for the record, my name is Kelsey Peterson, your LCB liaison, and I'll be presenting the Advantage Service Plan or TDSP annual update. All right. So the TDSP is a tactical plan that is jointly developed by the Designated Official Planning Agency, or DOPA, which is the TPA, and the Community Transportation Coordinator, or CTC, which is PalmTran. The plan includes components required by the Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged, or CTD, related to the service area, operations, and quality assurance. We do an annual update to the plan every year with a major update every 5 years. So the current plan goes from fiscal year 18 to 22, which means next year will be our major update. So I'm going to go through some of the changes, some of the bigger changes in this document, and those are shown in red and track changes. So first, we update the top 10 trip generators from PalmTran Connection every year. On the left side of the screen are the top 10 trip generators from fiscal year 20, and on the right are the top 10 trip generators for fiscal year 21. You'll see that 4 of these locations fell off the top 10 list in fiscal year 21. Those are the Mid-County Senior Center, the North County Senior Center, Gulfstream Goodwill Academy, and Goodwill Mangonia Park. For those 2 Goodwill locations, those are actually still within the top 20, just no longer in the top 10. And then for the senior centers, those were closed during COVID. And then we also added 4 new locations to the top 10 list of trip generators in 2021. And that would be the Department of Children and Families, Belle Glade, Winn-Dixie at Belle Glade, South Tech Academy, and the JARC Living and Learning Center.
Kelsey, kind of interrupt. This is the paratransit. And so has the Go Glades, integrated to the paratransit as another option?
So I believe these numbers are just for PalmTran Connection vehicles and not for the Go Glades vehicles.
May I?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Lou Ferry from PalmTran. Actually, number 6 and 7, DCF Belle Glade and Winn-Dixie at Belle Glade is Go Glade trips because it's under PalmTran Connection. So they moved up because the Go Glades is the only mode of transportation in PalmTran that actually gained ridership during the pandemic. So actually those 2 are Go Glades trips.
So it is not necessarily paratransit for those 2 positions.
Well, the Go Glades is kind of considered somewhat paratransit because it's a dial ride. So it's under the paratransit umbrella. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I mentioned paratransit, that means that there has to be certain qualifications, correct?
Right.
Is there any qualifications to do the Go Glades?
Go Glades, no, that anybody can ride, but
Okay.
but the Go Glades did take some transportation off the paratransit because it's a different system. So we're covering by that one. Yeah.
All right. And so I think that's very informative information. And I guess we'll see how that evolves year over year.
Thank you, Mayor Grant, for your question, and thank you, Lou. So something else we update every year is the needs assessment, specifically the number of eligible riders, active riders, and average trips per year for TD rider. So again, we have the fiscal year 20 numbers on the left and fiscal year 21 numbers on the right. And between the 2 fiscal years, we saw the number of eligible riders decrease from about 39,800 to about 35,800. We think this is in part due to COVID and just lower number of people applying for the paratransit services, as well as the new eligibility process, which I'm going to get into a little bit more in the next slide. The active riders also decreased from about 11,600 to about 9,200. Again, COVID likely played a factor here. And then the average trips per year for TD rider increased from about 54 to 66. And just as a note, that 66 number for this year is more similar to the numbers we saw in fiscal year 19. It was at 65 then. So as you all know, PalmTran Connection implemented a new eligibility process in February of this year. You all received a pretty detailed presentation on this in the last meeting, so I won't go into too much detail. But essentially the main difference is that PalmTran Connection now includes a phone assessment process as part of the eligibility process. That way the PalmTran Connection staff can actually speak with applicants on the phone and get a better understanding of their needs and match them up to the best service. So this process includes an initial screening call, followed by a follow-up assessment call. Then the applicants still receive a written application in the mail, which they will complete and mail back to PalmTran Connection. At that point, PalmTran Connection will use all that information from the phone call, the application, as well as the medical verification form if needed to make the eligibility determination. And then because of this updated eligibility process, we also updated the goals, objectives, and strategy section related to the eligibility process. So just noted here that the eligibility process was a strategy PalmTran Connection was using to continue their eligibility certification of individuals for paratransit, and that they implemented this process in February 2021. Next, we also updated a number of documents in the TDSP. If you looked at the draft TDSP, you'll notice that some documents have a red box around them. So that's showing that that is a document that has been updated from last year. And most of these are documents that we just have to update annually. These include things like membership, roll call voting sheet, PalmTran system map, which included a few changes to the routes. So we updated that. The CTC evaluation findings and recommendations, organizational charts, vehicle inventory, grievance procedures, and the rate model. And then last, you'll notice throughout the document some other changes and track changes as well. So I'll just touch on a few of these. One, there's a section added about COVID-19 trends and procedures. So this just goes over some of the ridership trends that we've seen from COVID-19, as well as how PalmTran Connection has adapted. We updated the list of awards to include that, again, PalmTran Connection won the 2021 Urban CTC of the Year Award. There's an update to the transportation operator contract section, just to note that the contract, which was going to be up in January 2022, is now being extended through June 2022. And then you'll see other changes as well throughout the document that aren't necessarily any changes to procedures or operations, but are just additional details or clarified language. And then lastly, we updated some of the pictures. So you'll see new pictures like this one throughout the document. And that is all I have for you for updates. So I will take any questions. And then after that, we will need a motion to approve the fiscal year 18 to 22 TDSP annual update. Thank you.
Invite, is there anyone online or public comments?
I do not have any public comments.
Okay. And so I'll ask anyone on the board if they would like to ask any questions or make any comments to please tilt their name tag to be recognized. Okay. I'm not seeing any name tags tilted. If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So I believe we have a motion by UN and second by Angela.
And Mayor, this does require a roll call vote, so I'll call the roll.
Yes, please.
Mallory Sanat is absent. Vanessa Palomino. And a yes or no for this, please.
Yes.
Wen Dang,
Yes.
Takesha Saffold,
Yes.
Elisa Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Lisa Amador,
Yes.
Marie Dorsman,
Yes.
Angela Choice.
Yes.
Jody, I'm gonna get your name, I promise. It's the day one. Jody, and say it again for me, please. Robert, thank you. Yes or no? Yes, thank you. Jeannie Christman is absent. Robin Manuel,
Yes.
Merlene Ramnon,
Yes.
Laura Schultz is absent. The representative for Children at Risk is vacant and absent. Robert Goodman, And I don't have that he's joined the meeting, so he will be marked as absent from the vote. James Bonfiglio,
Yes.
Elsa DeGoy,
Yes.
Stephen Grant.
Yes,
It passes unanimously, Mr. Chair.
wonderful. Next, we have informational items, fiscal year 21 annual expenditure report. I invite Kelsey to present on this item.
Great. So again, this is Kelsey Peterson, and I am presenting on the annual expenditure report. All right, so the annual expenditure report, or the AER, is a document required by the Commission for the Transportation Disadvantaged, or CTD, that details all the direct federal and local government funds spent on transportation disadvantaged trips in Palm Beach County. These numbers do not include state funds, but they do include any local match money and those number of trips. And the numbers in this document are actual numbers. So they for the fiscal year 21 or July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. So, and these numbers are just taken directly from the report. First, we're looking at the coordinated transportation, which is referring to PalmTran. So on the left, we have the local funding expenditures, which were about 34.8 million, and the number of trips from local funding, which are about 545,000. And then on the right, the direct federal funding expenditures are about 17.5 million. And this amount was actually awarded for the CARES Act, so this will not be a recurring source of revenue. And then the number of trips from direct federal funding was about 274,000.
Kelsey, is that a combination, or is that so that we spent 51 million, or is the 17 million from the 34 million?
It would be a combination.
So there was 51 million spent.
Yes, that's correct. And I'm looking at Lou to correct me if I'm wrong, but yes.
Okay.
All right. And so then the form also looks at transportation alternatives, which would be alternatives to PalmTran Connection. But since PalmTran Connection serves all of Palm Beach County, we don't have any transportation alternatives here. So that's why NA is shown. And then other would be things like planning, but we don't receive any additional local or direct federal funding. So we have NA shown for that as well. And that is it. There's no action required for this document. We just bring it to you all as an information item. And again, we submit it to the CTD, but I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Well, that's a lot of money. So I'm going to ask a few questions
Sure.
about it. And so the 17 million that was from the federal funds, that is something that we are not planning on getting next year. And
That's
so
correct.
does that mean we're anticipating that additional cost? Because I know that sometimes they did paratransit for Meals on Wheels or similar programs. And does that mean that those programs for the parent transit drivers are going to end? I kind of want to get a better understanding of why we didn't have the year before numbers, I guess 2019. So it's kind of in the sense is that where were we before the pandemic? Where were we during the pandemic? And what is likely to happen in the future regarding the expenditures? I'm guessing Lou might have
Sure.
that answer.
Okay. So all this money wasn't only used for trips, it was also used for COVID and the procedures that actually, the protocols that I'll probably go into the next CTC update, the cleaning of the vehicles, there's a lot that was involved with this response to COVID. And a lot of that CARES money went towards that for PalmTran. So this doesn't mean we're reducing any services. It doesn't mean that anything is going to be reduced for our customers. The delivering meals and all that was because the meal sites were closed. The Division of Senior Services for Palm Beach County actually hired a company to do that. So they didn't need our help anymore. So that's still going on. We're just not providing that service anymore. As far as some of the other things we did, we're always there to help. We're here to help, the county, area on aging, anything is needed, we try and figure out a way. Actually, my fearless leaders out there in the crowd, our executive director, Clinton Forbes, and we're always ready to jump in if you know, Boynton needs help or the county. So this reflects some of what we've done during that pandemic. So no, that the funds will not be there from the CARES Act. However, our expenditures are only going up on paratransit, and that's just reflective upon what this community needs. So remember, just think about this. All those baby boomers are getting older. A lot of people are living in gated communities. There's no way to get them out. However, Palm-Tran, through our transportation development plan, which is coming out soon, we have plans in the future to try and look at a non-traditional way of doing transit, trying to get those people out to the fixed route buses. We have some really cool things to do. Our planning folks can come next meeting and show you some of the things from our TDP if you'd like to see that. So,
Yeah, I would appreciate the innovation for gated communities. All right. And if there's no other questions or comments, oh, James.
Question, does anybody know if there will be funds available in the most recent infrastructure bill that the president just signed, I think the other day, that'll eventually either directly or indirectly trickle down to Palm Beach County for transit?
there's no red light anymore. Oh, there it is.
Mr. Chair, members, good afternoon.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Well,
Now
okay.
you can go.
Mr. Chair, members, Clinton Forbes, Executive Director of Palm-Tran. It's a $70 billion investment in transportation. And yes, a large part of that will go to transit. Right now, we're still reading through. We don't know exactly what that number will be. But the CARES Act, the CRISA, and the ARP have all been allocated based on the Miami Urbanized Area Formula funding, where we get it through formula, and all 4 properties get their share based on ridership, population, et cetera. So we expect a good number. I have never seen this much money in my career from the federal government for transportation. Most of that went to recovery, but as Lou mentioned, we are with the new set of funding with the ARP and now the infrastructure bill, we're going to be looking to invest that money for recovery, to attract new riders and hopefully bring back some of the old ones. So we're putting together plans to really invest that money so that we can get people back on our system. We're still about 30% down in ridership. And we've been that way for several months now. So yes, the question is, yeah, the answer is yes.
I saw in the report, and you just mentioned that ridership was down. I assume ridership is down primarily because of COVID. And so is there going to be some sort of formulaic accounting for that decrease in ridership? And my guess is you're going to anticipate the ridership is going to increase once we're past the pandemic. That would, that formula I'm hoping would increase the funding.
Well, that's what really all of this money has been for, is really to recover. At least I and some other leaders anticipated a quicker recovery. This is kind of like one-time money. This recovery, based on how it's trending, even with us seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, will be longer. It will take longer. We're talking probably 3 to 5 years. So that's what the money from the federal government is for. It is for recovery. It is for the lost in ridership, to fare box recovery, all of those things. That's what this money is actually for. So that's what we're going to use it for, to try to get more people back on our system and get our ridership back.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Does anyone else from the board have any questions or comments before we move on to the CTC report? See none, I'll invite Lou to present on this item.
All right, thank you. For the record, again, Lou Ferry, Palm Tran Connection, Palm Tran. So let me see if we want to put that up.
Yes.
All right. So the CTC update. So for those of you that are new, pretty much the LCB, Local Coordinating Board, you might not have gone through everything yet. So we meet quarterly. It's an advisory committee to the CTC, which is the Community Transportation Coordinator, which in this county is Palm Beach County through Palm Tran. So Palm Tran Connection, we're the CTC. Okay. And I'm gonna definitely take this opportunity to say we won the CTC of the year at the Transportation Disadvantage conference. So I'm gonna say that is quite the honor, because we won the urban CTC of the year. There's also a rural for the smaller counties out there. So we won over Miami and Jacksonville and Broward and all them. So that's a really good thing. So it shows that your capacity in an advisory manner, also what we've done to help our customers through this pandemic and we continue to do, really was recognized. So I just wanted to thank everyone here too for your support with us and helping us win this award. So thank you for that before I get into everything. So the service update that I usually give is kind of an update of what's going on in Palm Tran. Most of when you think of TD, the Transportation Disadvantage, mostly you think of the paratransit side, the Palm Tran Connection side, because that's mostly you think of the Transportation Disadvantage, which is really defined as seniors, children at risk, people that are below the poverty level, and transportation disadvantage, those that can't reach transportation. So this is focused a lot on the paratransit side, although we talk about the fixed route as well. So I'm just trying to give you an idea of what we kind of talk about. And it's I'll go through some things. If you have any questions, just let me know and we could talk about it. All right. So quick service update. The end of September marked 19 months of experiencing the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the end of our 2021 fiscal year. So during this time, Palm Tran lost approximately 4.9 million riders across all modes of service. Let's see, let's take that off. Fixed route ridership has not seen a positive ridership, as Mr. Forbes just said. School has been back in session, creating more traffic, higher ridership on connections. So actually, since school started in August, Palm Tran Connection has seen a spike in our ridership and is only going up. In fact, today, I think our ridership was close to 3,900 scheduled passengers, when normally before the pandemic was about 5,000. So it's given us some challenges with the on-time performance just because so many people are coming back. Both fixed route and connection are experiencing unprecedented challenges in driver shortages. So in case you guys don't know, we're struggling. Since the pandemic, getting people to work in the transit industry, especially on the Palm Tran Connection side, when our wages are not as good as the Amazons of the world, starting at $17, $18, $19, $20 an hour, things like that. It's been a struggle. So it's really been difficult on the fixed route side, even though the compensation and as the wonderful things we do for our operators, it's been difficult. Also we on the fixed route side need a CDL license to operate those buses. So it's been difficult for us. So anybody knows anybody that wants to be an operator or driver, please let us know. So we'd appreciate it. Next slide, please. So this is just something continuing on, just so you guys know, we are still following the CDC guidelines. We will not transport persons who we know are COVID-19 positive on its fixed route connection or Go Glade service. Federal law requires wearing a mask while on the transportation vehicles, and failure to comply may result in denial of boarding or removal. And refusing to wear a mask is a violation of federal law. Passengers may be subject to penalties under the federal law. Now, when I talk about federal law, we are under the FTA law that says you must wear the masks on Palm Tran modes. Okay, so we're continuing with that as well. Next slide, please. So through COVID, I show you numbers. We talk about ridership, we talk about all these things, but I'm actually taking a little bit from Mr. Forbes' presentation at the FPTA conference, and I want to talk about some of the good things we've done. Something that was great that we were very happy with, and Mr. Forbes was very happy with doing, was we really honored our heroes. So something I set up, Mr. Forbes did, and I did at the TD Commission. We hear about the first responders, we hear about the nurses and the doctors and everyone that's out there, and even the public's employees and all that. But I don't think transit has really gotten to do of what we've been out there since the beginning. We never stopped service. We never stopped. throughout all the questions of what we should do is, should we do this? Should we not do that? We were out there for our customers. There was a way for them to get to medical, to get food, all those things. So what we did was we had a bus, and the bus was wrapped. This side of the bus you could see has actually some of the fixed route operators on it, maintenance, some of our employees at PalmTran, and on the other side was actually the paratransit side. So we honored the paratransit side, saying, our heroes serving the community. So it was pretty cool. They also got a pin. Everyone got a PalmTran COVID-19 Transit Hero pin. So it was really cool. Everyone really loved it. So thank you for that. Next one. Next slide. All right, next thing is trying to work within the community, COVID-19 vaccination awareness. We actually had a bus wrapped. Which one? We're going this one. All right, wait. Oh, can we go back that one? Yes. So we have a bus wrapped, just promoting don't miss your shot. It says find a COVID-19 vaccine near you. We have a local hero, we can say. His name is Terry Brandon, coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, assistant defensive line coach. So you see that going throughout the county, just promoting. I actually saw it in Jupiter this morning as I was driving to work, where I live up in Jupiter. So it's pretty cool. Something we enjoy putting out there. We're trying to just make the awareness. It's tough in the fact that there's some communities here. Obviously, everybody knows that are afraid to get the vaccine. So we thought with this bus going around, maybe we can change somebody's mind. So that's good. Another great thing we did. Next slide, please. And some of the other things is, again, COVID-19 mitigating measures that we did. We have personal protective equipment we gave, on-route cleaning. The on-route cleaning is actually still going on. We bus operator office doors, which means on the fixed route bus, we actually have a separation, a door that Mr. Forbes likes to call the office door for the bus operators. And it not only protects them from this COVID pandemic, it was actually something we thought of beforehand too, just because for the protection of the drivers as well, the operators. Temperature testing, health screening, we had rear door boarding, we suspended fares, and of course we have that mask requirement, and we limited seating at certain points. Next slide, please. Also, we implemented this quantum system, automated wheelchair securement. We were actually the first in Florida to complete its whole fleet with this. So what that means is someone enters the fixed route bus with a wheelchair, there's actually an automatic constraint system where they can back up, press a button, and it secures it on their own. So this is really, really cool. Also, hand sanitizers on the buses. We actually were ahead of the game on that too. We had that before pandemic, but this is Mr. Forbes, one of his favorite things is when these buses were cleaned, the cleaners left a certified cleaned and disinfected certificate on that seat to let the operator know that this was cleaned and everything was good, making them feel good. And the ultraviolet, the lights disinfecting through the AC, circulating air throughout the bus. So there's some cool things we did. Also, the bus ride, we were on there recognized for that constraint system that we put in. Next one, please. And then, as Mr. Forbes likes to say, crisis breeds innovation. So, of course, like anybody else, we did virtual meetings. We had to, we actually have the reservation staff on the PalmTran Connection side working from home, which we actually found the hold times go from about 3 minutes to a minute. So it's amazing how people, I guess, when they roll out of bed and they're in their PJs, they work a lot harder than when they're at the office and doing those things. So we saw some great improvements in that. Also, as Mayor Grant mentioned, we did a meal program for the Division of Senior Services. We actually delivered close to 8,000 meals to those seniors that couldn't get out to the senior center. So we're very proud of that. Next one, please. And so this one is the Go Glades. The Go Glades is, again, talking about innovation. It was a flex system where the Glades area out there was routes where it would follow along the route, then go off the route to pick some people up and go back on that fixed route and go and traverse around the Glades area. Well, to limit the ridership, we actually changed it to a dial-a-ride system, and it's been a great success. As you can see with the slide on the left, you could see a couple of the routes where it really didn't cover all of the Glades area, but on the right, we have that just shows the ridership trend. A lot of them are going to that Winn-Dixie over there in Belglade, but they can go from Pahokee all the way down to South Bay to Belle Glade. It's great. It's actually, as I mentioned before, the only mode that actually saw an increase in ridership. And you can, next slide, please. Which I think, again, it just shows the ridership increase for the Go Glades. And next one. All right, so Palm Tran ridership, connection ridership. We were asked to look at a larger scale. So Mayor Grant, we did that for you. I know you weren't at the last meeting, but as you could see, November 19, we had 81,088 riders all the way up to January of 88,698. Then obviously it just went down during the pandemic. But as you can see, we're just going up now. We're in October, we had 66,681 paratransit rides. So we're slowly creeping up on the paratransit side for ridership. Does anybody have any questions about the ridership slide? Nope. Okay. Oh, yes.
Do you anticipate ridership to reach the peak of what, 88,000 that was December of 2019?
Right now, we're averaging about a 4 to 5% increase each month on paratransit on the Palm Tran Connection side. And we have not, the Division of Senior Services meal sites are not open yet. They might be opening in January. On the slide you saw before, I think there was 2 or 3 that were the highest ridership areas for us. So when those Division of Senior Services meal sites go back up, and if they open at full capacity and the seniors choose to ride, that it's only going to go higher. So yes.
Okay, I have another question on an earlier slide where you showed the mitigating factors you employed to keep the Palm trains free of COVID. Do you have any information on the success of that? Whether there was a lot of COVID transmission, little COVID transmission by riders of Palm Tran?
So I am not aware of any Palm Tran Connection riders that or our operators getting COVID from being on the bus. Being outside the bus in their social areas, yes. But because of all the things we've done, I can honestly say that we did an amazing job. And I have not had anyone say that they got it on the bus.
So you think it was a successful, worthwhile?
Absolutely.
Endeavor? Great.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, throughout this pandemic, we learned a lot. You know, obviously we all learned a lot, especially when transportation, you want to fill that bus up, right? You want to fill it up on the Palm Tran Connection side. You want to fill it up on the fixed route side. And we found it difficult because we're trying to say, don't ride, we don't really want you to ride. We want to be there for you, but we really, for the fixed route, we went down to 10 riders to then only 20 riders per bus. We kind of roped off some of the seats, so to speak, and so that you can't sit down. So it was against what we do, but that was the responsible thing to do. And now the demand is only going up. As Mr. Forbes said, on the fixed route side, we're afraid that some people have found other ways to get where they need to go. Right. So we need to find ways to get them back on the bus. The bus is there. We're out there to help everyone. In a moment, I'll talk about something really cool that we're doing, but that's industry wide, not just here at Palm Tran. So industry wide in the transit agency, everyone's seen a decrease in ridership. And on our paratransit side, it's not many have seen the increases like us here in Palm Beach County.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So Palm Tran Connection OTP.
I'm sorry. I do have Takesha with her hand raised as well.
Sure.
Yes, I have a question for one of the first slides that you mentioned in regards to retaining drivers. I do articulate that there is a shortage of drivers for the paratransit side, but is that also in regards to fixed route where there's a shortage of drivers?
Yes, fixed route also has a shortage of operators. I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's 30. We're 30 down right now.
Okay.
So 30. Mm-hmm.
And my second question is, what is the range of pay for the operators for both paratransit and fixed route?
So paratransit, we start both operators, it's around $13 an hour it starts. On fixed route, I think it's close to what, 15 to 26 if you're top rated.
Okay, in comparison to other paratransits in other counties, are we within the range of pay rate that the operators should be paid, or will there be a potential increase to try to retain operators and also to try to hire more operators?
So we are actually more competitive because it all depends upon, you know, where people live, obviously. We do have an increase in the extension for the new contract to extend, a slight increase in pay. We're not sure what we're doing. Really, remember, we contract out the paratransit. So really the MV and First Transit of the world, those two really have the thought process of what to do in their hiring process. So at the last meeting, Takeshi, you might not have been there, but MV is offering, I think, a $1,000 signing bonus plus referral bonuses of up to $300 to $600. We have First Transit offering $1,000 to $1,500 signing bonuses. So they're doing innovative things there as well. It's just, if it's to be totally blunt with you, if you can get $18, $19, $20 an hour working at Taco Bell, maybe that's what they want to do more so than do this. I mean, Dr. Elsa DeGois is here from Career Source, and I think it's difficult. We actually worked with Career Source, and they helped us out with the job fair for fixed route opportunities and also paratransit opportunities for drivers. We actually got a great response from that. As far as paratransit, I think MV got about 11 drivers and First Transit got about 6 or 7 drivers. But there was how many, I'm sorry, may I ask, Doctor, I mean, you had how many people, how many vendor or how many agencies at that job fair?
So we had 22 employers total.
Can you bring it closer?
Sure. Okay, so we had about 22 employers total. At least out of the 22, I think 5 or 6 were transportation and logistics. We had 205 participants. At one particular table, if I remember correctly, from one of the transit tables, 45 people attended. However, when you start looking at them and you start looking at their qualifications and skill sets, we ended up at one point with 10, like you said, Lou, 10 or 11 from one area and 6 or 7 from the other. Because yes, 30 people apply, but you have your background checks, you have all the issues that can come up, once you start doing the onboarding. So we had a great turnout considering. We had, just as an update, not only logistics and transportation, and at that job fair, Mayor Grant, up to date, we have over 40 placements. So we're moving in the right direction. We just still need to keep moving. Not all of them were logistics. I would have loved for them to be riders and, drivers, but we're working on it. We haven't forgotten. We still have the job orders open, and every day we try. But going back to what you said, to be fair, Amazon is paying. And so when you say, Amazon is paying $17, what we try to tell them is, but look at the whole job description.
Right.
In a nice way.
And I do want to thank Mayor Grant too for offering Boynton Beach as the
Yes.
home for this job fair. So we all partnered up actually, which is
Yes.
great. So thanks.
It was
So
wonderful.
to give a little bit background, partnership between the City of Boynton Beach, Career Source, and a couple other organizations to have a career fair and education fair at the Arts and Cultural Center. We had over 200 people attend, with 40 people getting a jobs placement so far. A 20% is not bad, and that's kind of it. Is that I think we mentioned quarterly, but I think we'll probably do it semi-annually. So I think that's something that we'll start planning. If we did in October, we'll plan for April and go from there. And I think that's it. And so it's kind of mentioning, partnering with the other municipalities to let them know that, hey, here is the application for First Transit or MV transportation, so that it's always there, and that if someone's looking for work, that can be one of their first things. So I've always been, as the municipal representative here, that's kind of where the partnership needs to be, is that it's understanding how each municipality works, because I believe that we partner with May Volan for our senior center. And so, there's a lot of different things that there are synergies involved. And I think that we will continue doing what we can to make sure that people are able to get to where they need to go.
Sounds great. Thank you. So
Can I
just
just
to,
mention something, Lou, just to, on piggybacking what the mayor said? First, I want to say thank you because it was a great event, and thank you to the City of Boynton Beach and their teams. But let's not wait quarterly, semi-annually. There is opportunity for especially logistics and drivers and transit to do what we call an onsite or an offsite. We don't have to do an entire job fair. So I just want to mention that if there comes a time where you have, like you say, 10, 30 drivers down, and you want to do an onsite at Career Source or an offsite, meaning at your facility, we don't have to wait for the job fair to see how we can continue helping and supporting in the shortages. I just want to share that.
thank you. I guess the big elephant in the room for the hiring for us, if you really want to be real, they don't pass the drug test. Most of them do not pass the drug test. Because again, even, marijuana, that you can't have any of that. You can't have anything like that. And a lot of potential employees just can't pass the drug test. So that's unfortunate. Takesha, did I answer your question? Is that good?
Yes, yes,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to continue on with this. So Palm Train Connection OTP, the on-time performance, as you can see, if you look at for the pandemic, we were about 81, 83, 81, 79%. Now, interestingly enough, before the pandemic, we had a resource problem. We didn't have enough newer buses. The buses were breaking down. So we had trouble with our on-time performance because we didn't have the resources. Then as the ridership goes down and we have the resources that we need, you can see the on-time performance was very high during the pandemic. Then all of a sudden, as I was talking about ridership going up and the driver shortages, the OTP, the on-time performance is not where we want it to be right now. So we're trying to do everything we can, as I said, trying to get new drivers, trying to think innovatively if there's other ways we can fix this problem. But it's an ongoing problem right now, just because we're expecting a certain amount of routes from our two providers. They're not able to get there because either drivers don't show up or drivers leave. And so it's been difficult for us with the on-time performance. Does anyone have any questions on this one? All right, next slide, please. So the productivity, so something we look at in paratransit for Palm Train Connection is we look at the on-time performance and we look at the productivity. How many passengers do we average per hour? Okay, so right now we're averaging back up to that 1.5 industry standard that we're looking at. That was before the pandemic, because again, we don't have anywhere else to put everybody. So we got to put them on the paratransit vehicles as much as possible, try and get as many people on there as possible. Now, Mr. Forbes would like it to be 2, 3, 4 per hour, but that's difficult with the size of the county we have and where people are going. But right now, productivity is well. Now, interestingly enough, when productivity goes up, on-time performance usually goes down because you're putting more people in the buses. Does anybody have any questions about that one? All right, next one, please. So this is something that the LCB has asked for. So TD ridership complaint report, just a snapshot. So as you can see, the TD ridership in July, it was 6,500, August, 7,800, September, 8,489, and October, 9,134. So you can see that just the transportation disadvantage ridership, how much it's gone up from July to October. So for those that you don't know, we have transportation disadvantage is one of our funding sources, the Division of Senior Services, which we don't have any meal sites open now. And then the other one is ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. That's 80% of our work. Raw complaints in July were 13, valid 3. August, there was 20 raw complaints with 12 being valid. September, 11 was raw, 2 being valid. In October, we had 36 raw complaints and 13 being validated. The valid complaints included discourteous, late pickup, late drop off, discourteous driver, that is, condition of vehicle, driver no assistance, vehicle no show, damaged property, improper drop off, wheelchair securement, and other. Does anyone have any questions about this slide? We're good. Now, this is just a video that we did. So I presented with Nicole Fincham-Sheehan, who's our outreach person at the FPTA TD conference. And we did something about how to create an all-inclusive or an inclusive transportation and workplace for those with disabilities. And we had transit professionals like myself there, and a lot of them kind of didn't understand everything we were saying, which was kind of amazing that they serve the public, that they're disabled, things like that. But the thought process of having someone, so Nicole is the first blind person that we've hired in the 20 years that I've been here. So it's pretty amazing when you think that all the people that that Palm Tran Connection serves and Palm Tran serves, we need to make it look more like, hire some of the people that actually we serve. So it was very exciting to have her on board, and we had a great session. But I ended the session with this, and I thought I'd show you this because it's a pretty cool video. And if anybody wants, I can share it with them afterwards. So you can play it.
What is Palm?
Oh wait, no, this is. I'm sorry, I didn't know what Connections. This is Connections video. So the Connection video is actually in our CTC review. There was something that said we should do little videos and we should promote Palm Tran Connection and education. So this is just one of the videos we did, and I thought I'd show you this. Just what is Palm Tran Connection?
Is Palm Beach County's shared ride, door-to-door transportation service for those people who are unable to use Palm Tran's fixed route or those big buses. A person must apply for the service and meet the requirements to be approved. Eligibility is typically for seniors, those with disabilities, or the transportation disadvantaged. Once eligible, reservations are necessary and must be completed by 5 p.m. the day before you wish to travel. Connection is not a private same-day service like a taxi. A driver will meet you at the front door of any private residence or at the ground floor entrance of any public building. You can use Connection to do things like medical appointments, shopping, go to the senior center, and visit friends. Flexibility is important with travel times. You could be the first person picked up and the last person dropped off. When the driver arrives to pick you up, they will wait up to 5 minutes for you before leaving to continue the route and keep things running on time. Connection has more than 240 vehicles with an average of 4,000 trips scheduled each day. Palm Tran's mission is to provide access to opportunity for everyone safely, efficiently, and courteously.
So I just wanted to show an example of one of the videos that we created. So that's cool. And then the next one is just the other video that we showed at the FPTA. So I just wanted to share that with you as well.
Oh, no, I'm
you
sorry.
didn't-
We
you
only
didn't get
have
that
the
one?
one video.
Oh, you only got one? Okay. So I did get another one. That's okay. But the next thing I wanted to talk about just for a moment, and I'm glad Clinton's here too, but I'll do my part and if Clinton wants to say something about it. So we have something very exciting that happened this week. We actually finally upgraded our fare box, and we have the Paradise Pass. So what is the Paradise Pass? It's a long time coming. Let's put it that way. So instead of going to that fare box, trying to use that old swipe or put that money in like that, we actually have a card that can be loaded up. So we have a website or an app. Okay, so you can, if you have the app, you can actually load $20 in the app. You can ride. Also, you can use the app by scanning the code on the app, or you can have the Paradise Pass, which is actually a card, and all you do is tap. You just tap it and go. Also, during our promotion period right now, if you get the card right now and you put Paradise in the promo code, you get $10 credit, which is even better. So that's great. So another thing that's really cool is we have this thing where it's fare capping. So you'll never pay more than you really need to pay for it. So like an all-day pass is $5. So, and one ride on Palm Tran is actually $2. So if I go from here downtown to the intermodal and I tap and it's $2, then I tap again and it's $4. If I tap again at $6, it's only going to cap out at $5. So it's got some really, really cool things. So right now we're out walking around trying to get our customers get accustomed to it. With anything new, some of them are like, why are you changing it? I just like to put the money in. I don't want to do anything. And some are like, finally, I get to do something cool. This is so awesome. So this is a pretty big deal for us. I don't know, Clinton, did you want to say something? We're good. Okay. But it's really exciting for us because we've been working on it. I know you guys, the TPA or MPO, even MPO when it was, were pushing us as to when are you going to get this going? When are you get this going? Because they actually helped us with some of the money for this. So this is an exciting thing that's happening right now. I have some brochures if anybody wants to look at it afterwards. And so help promote the Paradise Pass.
Where can people get the pass?
So right now we have people out at bus stops at the intermodal. We're giving out the passes now. There are also kiosks. You can come to Palm Train Connection. Libraries, yes, libraries as well. So right now we're inundating it with right now. You can download the app. You can go to the kiosks. It's exciting. So, yep.
All right.
That is my CTC update. If anyone has any
I
questions.
have a question. Is there a discount for disabled veterans?
So all the discounts for fares are exactly the same as usual. So if you're a student, there's a half fare, if seniors half fare, the veterans have half fare. Yeah, those are all included in our fare structure. This is just an easy way to pay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You got it.
Yes, Margie.
I have Takesha with her hand raised as well.
Sure.
Takesha.
Okay. Yes, I have a suggestion for one of the slides and also a question for the slide you just mentioned about. In regards to the complaints, I don't recall the numbers for the specific categories, but for late trips, and this is just from some of the feedback that I've gotten from drivers and also other consumers who utilize the system is what is the possibility of someone calling to let clients know that the bus is going to be late? As a person who utilized the service, I've had someone to call from dispatch just to let me know, hey, by the way, just letting you know, your bus is going to probably be, 15 minutes late or whatever. We do apologize. And so it takes a lot of the pressure off the drivers who have to deal with, when they pick up someone and they're already upset and frustrated, because I've been on the bus when it has happened, and it's a lot of pressure on the drivers. And I do understand that the dispatchers are up under a lot of pressure as well. But I find that it would help if someone could, call in advance just to let someone know that their bus is going to be late. So then by the time the driver comes, they may not be as frustrated or upset. That's just a suggestion. I know that, there's a lot of shortages. So I know that this is not something that can be done overnight. But that was just something that I thought about. In regards to this last slide, I'm sorry, I'm trying to refresh my memory on what the slide was in regards to. Oh, the Paradise Pass. My understanding of this pass is that for someone who utilizes the paratransit, like myself, actually this morning when I was at the Gardens Mall, there was someone there who walked up to me and sort of had a conversation with me about the pass and that they were one of the consultants. But I'm assuming that I have a card that allows me to utilize the fixed route without any cost. So I'm assuming that there's no need in that case to have the Paradise Pass since, there's no monies involved. That's my question.
Okay, I'll take the Paradise Pass one first. So that's a great question. Right now, you show your ADA card just like you do right now, and you ride for free. However, when you recertify for your paratransit for Palm Train Connection, we will then offer you a Paradise Pass with your picture on it, and it'll work as an ADA card. So that what you'll do there is you can tap so that we can count the amount of trips that you're taking. So, So once you recertify, we're going to do that. Right now, we're launching the Paradise Pass right now. But once you down the road, that will come where you'll get a Paradise Pass, but that'll act as that ADA pass that you have now.
Okay, awesome.
And then your other question, there is an initiative to call those that are late, but right now there's a lot of people that are late, and we're trying to do it as best as we can. But I do encourage you to use the Pass web if you can, Because PassWeb is something that it gives you the ETA up to 15 minutes to a half hour before your pickup window, and it shows you where the vehicle is located, and it shows you when the vehicle will get there. So we are pushing that a lot because that's the best way to see where your vehicle is and when the vehicle will arrive.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, Jody?
I have a couple questions and I don't know, it's my first meeting, so I don't know if now is the right time to ask.
Whatever,
but-
whatever you want to ask, lose the guy. So
Okay, so the first is I want to offer a potential partnership. Community Action offers CDL training for folks, and that's actually one of our most popular trainings. So perhaps that's something that we can look at and, how do we get our clients to apply to work for you? So that's something. Additionally, we talk with families of low income all the time. We host community conversations. I do interviews with them. And some of the things that they're bringing up that are needed. And I understand with a shortage of drivers, this may not be possible now. But a lot of them are saying they can't get to work taking the bus because they work later shifts and the buses don't run. Additionally, sometimes it takes them 3 hours to get to work because they have to change buses 3 or 4 different times because there are limited routes in some communities. Is that something that you're looking to address at some point?
So, I mean, Clinton, correct me if I'm wrong, but in our transportation development plan that I said we have in the future that we're thinking about, we are thinking about trying to figure out how to get people to work, because we know that that's kind of the core of the people that ride the fixed route. Let's talk afterwards too, because there is something through commuter services that might help with the late night. They might be able to help with the program that they have. But we are looking to find a way to help people like that. Yes.
Okay.
Because one thing you're saying is it takes too long. One initiative is to shorten those wait times between the fixed route buses. So instead of a 60-minute wait, it's a half-hour wait, which would
Right.
help a lot. And then those transfers would be a lot easier. So
Mhm.
that is something we're looking at, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then you have Wen with her 10 card up.
yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations, by the way, on your Paradise Pass. I think that's really exciting. I'm hoping that the next iteration is going to be Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. Well, as Mr. Forbes wants, anything on your person, you can go to that bus and you'll be able to pay. So yes, it's coming.
Yeah, no,
coming.
it's really exciting. I've had the opportunity to use Apple Pay in a different transit system just this year, and it's just very convenient. I do have a couple questions. One in reference to the $17 million that we received in reference to the CARES Act that comes back to cleaning protocols. With that funding not available next fiscal year, how are we gonna sustain, I guess, the different type of cleaning protocols that you have on the different systems?
Well, we're continuing the cleaning protocols now, but I'm not sure if you saw the Board of County Commissioner meeting yesterday. I know the COVID numbers are going down. I know that the county took away the mask mandate, but that doesn't mean our cleaning efforts are going to go away. It might mean that we modify some things where we don't have to do the extensive cleanings that we do now. It doesn't mean we're going to stop everything, but again, a lot of this also bought PPEs. Remember, we didn't have ultraviolet ray, AC, things like that. We didn't. So a lot of it were also purchases that helped us with that. I'm not if Mr. Forbes wants to say anything else, but I think we're always going to continue to take what we've learned and incorporate that in as much as possible. If we see a trend that works, and it works for our customers, it works for us, we're going to try and continue to do that through whatever means possible. But if it doesn't, some of the things we did were over the top, I could tell you that much. And it was needed at the time, but it probably is not needed now.
Sure. Thank you. In the video, it was very informative. The reservation has to be made by 5 p.m. Is there a hybrid option available for online and instead of call center that someone could?
Yes. So that PassWeb that I just talked about with Tikisha, so we have an online booking system.
Right.
So they can book 24 hours a day, but the day before you wish to travel, you got to book before 5 o'clock, just because we have to get the schedules ready for the next day. But they can book up to 3 days in advance on the Pass web. And also the ETAs are on there as well. So. yep.
Right. And second, the to Keisha's comment and reference to giving somebody a call in reference of being late. Is there a quick way from, especially if the route's already on Pass web, for like a push notification to go out to those users?
They don't have the capability right now to do a push notification. That's why I encourage them. So if I pulled up my trip right now, so for those that don't know, Palm Train Connection works on a half-hour window. So if I give you a window, you're going to be picked up anywhere from 10 o'clock to 10:30. So with the Pass web, if you go on and check your trip, it'll show you a map. It'll show you where the vehicle is located 15 minutes before your window starts. And then it'll show you all the way up to the point where you're picked up and then some. So you can actually see that, oh, that bus is on Linton and Military, and I live, in Boca, it's coming my way. So for those, even those that are visually impaired can use it as well. It is accessible. It might not be accessible for everyone, because they might not know how to use it, but it's accessible in that we even work with the light line to make sure that everyone can use it. So they can track their vehicle, and instead of just calling and asking us where the vehicle is, it's a really great tool. So we do
Yeah,
have-
I think it would be great if, I guess the next iteration of that is to say, hey, your vehicle is 10 minutes out,
No, yes, we actually have a phone call where when the vehicle arrives, we had a phone call that was beforehand, but now it's when the driver arrives and presses the arrive button, a phone call goes out to alert them that the driver is there.
Okay, perfect.
So
Thank
that
you so
helps a
much.
lot. You're welcome.
Are there any other questions from the board? Margie, any online?
No, Mayor.
Okay. And then our last would be partner agency updates. I do not believe we have any, but one of the things that I want to know if staff could reach out to Brightline and see about their paratransit capabilities.
Brightline? Oh, Brightline looks at us for paratransit.
Well, no, it's kind of like, let's say someone wants to go to Miami. How does someone use paratransit from their place in Palm Beach County to the Brightline station?
Okay, so may I for a second?
Yeah.
So right now, if someone inter-county paratransit, really there's nothing that goes inter-county. However, Palm Train Connection will meet Broward down in Boca, and we have kind of a get off your bus, get on there. We tried to work with Tri-Rail, Brightline, not so much, because they think they're a little more hoity-toity. So it's a good point that you say that. But but one thing, just so you know, for eligibility reasons, so if someone wants to go to Miami, even if someone wants to go to Orlando or Jacksonville or even Mississippi or something like that, I'm just saying we reciprocate our eligibility. So if someone wants to leave this area and go to New York, we can send their eligibility up there, and they get visitors status up there for 21 days or 21 rides. I'm just throwing it out there. That's not the question you had. I'm just letting people know. Yeah.
But I think the question that I have is if Brightline can inform us on their ADA access.
Okay.
And so that way it's that aspect, and I guess Tri-Rail has all ADA access as well.
Yeah, I'm just quickly on my, you saw me up at TD. I always say, I've been to so many conferences and they talk about the autonomous vehicles and all these great things that they're going to do. First thing I ask is, well, how is someone visually impaired or someone in a wheelchair going to do that? And they usually say, I don't know. And I say, why don't you start with that? If you start with that, then you can cover everybody, but they don't think like that, because most of them.
And I think that's kind of where we're at, is let's ask the question before.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting.
Mayor Grant, I'll reach out to Brightline and ask them about their accessibility, and I can get back to the board on that.
Okay. And if there's no other questions or comments, we will,
This is Merlin Ramnan. Just wanted to introduce the members who are at the back. They are from the Department of Health. So we have 2 doctors in our midst. They're in the residency program with our Department of Health. And then we have a brand new supervisor who I brought to visit and to learn more about the transportation disadvantage in our county. Thank you for visiting. And I hope they did have a fruitful visit and they have learned a lot about this whole transportation in Palm Beach County. I know the video was very enlightening to me. It looks very pretty, but I also want to add that, you know, we're in the flu season and we can't let our guard down when we talk about sanitization and cleaning all those areas in the bus. So we have to remember it's not just COVID, we have a host of other diseases. And epidemiology, one of our program, they look at over 90 diseases that occur all the time. So we can't let our guard down, even though COVID numbers are going down. We're very happy. We can kind of like move on and take deep breaths, but we have other things that are coming, you know, the flu season and I don't know, I don't want to predict anything, but ever so often we have a new disease coming on board. So we have to maintain the entire sanitization, making sure we wash our hands, making sure we, whatever face covering, mask or so, you may not want to wear it every single day, but there are times when you have to wear when people are coughing and sneezing. So thank you.
thank you. And if there's no other comments, I'll get a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Is there a second? All right, meeting is adjourned. You have things for me? Kelsey, do you have things for me to sign? Okay.